legit almost did fall apart because I clicked the wrong button. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Best of 5. My name is Ilan, and as always, joined by my cohort, a pizza or two richer this week.
Are we?
Steve Ace King Officer Jurek, the main screen.
Hello.
What's up, Steve?
What is up is the intake of water.
Take a water?
Because it's quite warm. It is quite warm.
Mm-hmm.
It has been quite warm.
Yeah, you know what? I think I would like to say something about how warm it is. For anybody up in the Pacific Northwest, things are rough. I wish you all the best. From somebody who was in Texas when things were freezing over and being unusual because of climate change, you're dealing with the exact opposite situation, so please stay safe. And best wishes to all of y'all up there in the heat wave. You know, it's interesting because like you're getting a really, 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 really bad heat wave, and it's kind of drying everything. But it's a good thing that there's no holiday coming up where people purposefully set fire to things. So at least we have that.
It was kind of funny because Minnesota United, they went to play a game in Portland, and it started because of the heat. It got pushed back to an 8:30 local start time, which was 10:30 here.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, why are they starting so late? And then I saw that even with the delay, temperature was about 95 degrees at 8:30, which was oh my goodness.
On Sunday, the Olympic trials were delayed because it was 112.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
By the way, speaking of Minnesota, the Loons, I want to congratulate you for beating the worst team in the league last week, Austin FC, the official worst team in the league.
Here's the thing. Yeah, Austin FC is
awful. I hate them.
They're not record-setting bad.
Oh, they'll get there.
Minnesota United first season we set the record for most goals conceded in a single season.
Mm-hmm.
We broke that record next year, but we didn't get the record because there was somehow another team that allowed even more that same season.
Yeah,
but it took a while. So have faith.
Look,
stay strong.
Steve.
Stay strong.
Steve, I cannot have faith. I cannot have faith in a team where the coach doesn't even do any substitutions at all until the very, very end of the game, first of all. And I can't have faith in a team that charges $100 for general admission tickets for every game when they're actually worth like $15 to $20. So screw all that.
Look,
here's the thing, Steve.
We went through that very that first point. We went through that very same thing. Have faith.
Now, who I do have faith in?
Yes, I think you have faith in the same person.
Is the winner. Is the winner. Beaver for the win. Thank you, Beaver, for the win for the resub. 43 months in a row, a founder. Thank you. Thank you, Beaver. I almost said thank you, Steve.
Well,
thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Ilan.
Thank you.
You are the engine that makes this truck that is best of 5 go.
And we're all screwed because of it. All right, let's get down to business because we've been kind of yippity yapping. Now, right off the bat, last week I said things were happening. So here's the first thing that's happened. Hello.
Ho!
I've had that mic in front of my face for like the past hour. So this is what I look like. For those of you listening, I have shaved, and I plan on staying shaved as long as I can. I bought an automatic or like an electric trimmer, so that'll be a thing. Secondly, this is my last episode. There's more to this. Sorry.
That was an unnecessarily pregnant pause. There was a natural way to continue that thought, but you inserted a semicolon.
I apologize. This is my last episode in this room. So everybody please say goodbye to this wall that has treated us so well for the past couple of months because I am moving on Thursday. I'm picking up the keys to the new place. And I'm hoping to have everything set up on Monday, but no promises. I might have to miss the show on Tuesday. I am bringing this artwork, though. So thank you all. Thank you, floor. Thank you, ceiling. Thank you, door. You will be missed. The wall is the real hero. You're right. You're right.
Moving gets, it can be somewhat emotional for reasons that just don't make sense. Like you're cleaning out a closet, you're digging out like that medicine that you tucked away in that spot so you wouldn't forget it, but then you did forget it and it's
Mm-hmm.
been there for like years. You pick that up and you just sort of like you think back to when you got it and the memories that you formed in that place.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about the medicine.
Well,
The
that
memories
can
you
be
formed
something that
with the
triggers
medicine.
it.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
But look, it's all for positives, right? Because I'm moving out of a place that I'm not too well. Like I'm very fortunate to have, but I'm not too happy with. And I'm moving in with my significant other. So good times.
Oh.
And I'm gonna have Google Fiber. That's the most important part.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna get
forget the
Google
SO.
Fiber.
Forget
Google
living with someone
Fiber.
you love. It's just all about the Google Fiber.
It's Google Fiber. And a pool right outside of my door. I'm excited. That's a quote from a TV show, so you don't have to bleep that out.
I still do.
No, you don't.
Doesn't
All
work
right.
like that.
Tonight on the show, we're gonna talk about the tweet. We're gonna talk about the tweet. We're gonna talk about Tekken 7. I don't know if you guys know this, but concurrent player numbers have skyrocketed in Tekken. We're gonna try to dig and see where the reason for that is. There we go. Got it. Melty's coming out soon, in a couple months. We have some trailers. We have some announcements. We have some other announcements. And we even have some crazy shenanigans. But first, Steve, I believe it is time.
It is time. I need to jump right into this recap
Do
because
it up.
it's happening as we speak. So I mentioned this last week. Capcom Pro Tour was going dark for a couple weekends to make room for the closed qualifiers for the Intel World Open. This is the second step of three players who participated in the open qualifiers. Top two from each of those advanced to a closed qualifier. Top players from each of these qualifiers taking place this week advanced to the regional final, and that's where the money is going to be made. So once we get to that last stage, that's when $250,000 will be on the line. Those events actually started last night with the Australia closed qualifier. Travis Styles is your winner there, holding it down over ROF in the grand final. BK Sama and Panda rounding out the top four. All four of those players are going to the Oceania regional final. It's actually five players from Australia who are going. I am unclear on how that tie is broken between the two fifth place finishers. I've reached out to ESL for clarification on that, and as of this show's airing, I have not received that clarification. So, one more ticket will be punched. I'm just not sure who gets that ticket. Um, but that was the first of a few. China was next on the docket. Ding Chun Q ran a train over everybody, beat all three players in the bracket 3-0. Uh, Sent by Tenny to 3-0 in the opening round, beat VX Bao 3-0 in the winners final, and then beat Xiao Hai 3-0 in the grand final. But Xiao Hai and VX Bao are headed to the East Asia regional final as well. VX Bao, the beneficiary of uh, one of the regions not having enough players. So China got a third qualifying spot. There was another one that took place earlier, Europe East, excuse me. And this one was won by Maumas. I apologize for my pronunciation there. Representing Lithuania.
Hmm.
You had two Lithuanian players make it into top 8 here. Kajis being the other one. Shady Imposter and Mirkin rounding out top 3, both representing Poland. And Kalmal from Bulgaria rounding out top 4. All 4 of those players are headed to the Europe East regional final to take on whoever comes out of the Russian qualifiers. And just before we went live, we actually had one more uh, qualifier, and that was the U.S. East qualifier. And it was won by IDOM, who defeated Punk. Punk losing twice to IDOM. After the first one, who was upset about SFN connection. I watched. I got a chance to watch a little bit of this. There were some rough patches in a couple of the matches that I did get to see. But 6 of the 8 players there, Punk, Arturo, Brian F. Kami, and Shine, they will all join IDOM in the North America East regional final. They will take on the top 2 players from Canada East. And that will be determined later this week. So if you check out twitch.tv/ESL, this is going to be going on all week. Qualifiers all the way through Monday, if I remember correctly. Full schedule is available on juke.gg.
Also, I just want to clarify. I love my significant other very much, and I would not be moving into that apartment without her. Thanks. Now
Does
continue
she
with
watch the show?
What?
Does she watch the show at all? Or is this sort of like a thing that you do on your own and she's like, okay, that's his thing?
It's the scary part. Although I don't think it's scary. I don't know. Anyway, back to the recap. I'm kind of digging a hole on myself here.
All right, let's. We had a few other events take place. Let's take a look at some Smash.
Is this the event that is named after the Olympic commissioner?
Yes, it took me a while to get there. Our favorite commissioner, who I'm expecting a quote from anytime soon, Dick Pound.
It's hard. We can't say it without giggling. I feel bad.
I mean, that's an actual name. That's his actual name.
I know.
This was not named after him. But Pound held an online version of their 2021 event this past weekend. IBDW holding it down over SFAT in the grand final to win the title. Toussaint and Kodorin rounding out the top 4. So I didn't see the split of the cash, but there was $5,000 on the line there.
Also, big ups to Bobby Big Balls for winning the interesting name of the week.
I was wondering if you were going to let that slide or you were going to call it off. I mean, Eddie Mexico is a quality name.
Sure.
Any other event, that would be the winner of your best name category. Mm-hmm. But literally right next to Bobby Big Balls. You can't vote against Bobby Big Balls at Pound. You just can't do it.
All right.
I am 12, and I find
we all
this
are.
funny.
We all are, and it's great. Do we have any more recap stuff?
We have two other events to talk about. First off, this was an event that was a long time in the making. We were kind of stuck in limbo for about a month on this one. But we finally saw its conclusion this past week, and that was MKX Lives. If you'll remember, this was the event presented by Maximilian and Twitch Rivals, the MKX 32-person invitational. They got down to top 8, but Unfortunately, some jerk in chat was uh, conducting DDoS attacks against some of the players, also publishing home addresses in the chat. So they suspended the event. They said that they would finish it later. Later finally came Ninja Killa, your winner, holding off X88 MKX in the grand final. Deoxys and Rewind rounding out the top 4. So
Nice.
congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to Ninja Killer. Congratulations to everyone involved for finally getting. That sucks because that's a game, you love to see games that don't normally get the spotlight get that spotlight. And there was a whole bunch of excitement going for it at that point, and to see it just cut off at the knees like that because of internet being the internet just really sucks to see.
It's not the internet being the internet, Steve. It's some being some. I apologize for you having to blur that out. However, again, friend of the show, Hold Back the Blocks, Esteban, the Besteban, if you will, had a bunch of videos that he had made, much like he did for Killer Instinct. And one of them included Ed Boon thanking everybody for enjoying MKX, which was really nice. You can go to youtube.com/Hold Back the Block, I believe. Or you can follow Hold Back the Block on Twitter, and they posted the videos there. I think that's super cool that, Ed Boon, the face of Mortal Kombat, showed up to thank everybody for putting on such a really dope event. And again, it's unfortunate that, one or two pieces of doo-doo had to ruin it for the rest of us, but I'm glad we found the resolution to it, and we were able to finish the tournament. So big ups to Max, Dehado, and the rest of the crew for forging a path forward, making sure everybody stays safe.
So there was one other event that we need to talk about, and
You don't have a graphic for this, do you?
I don't have a graphic for this
Okay.
because it hurt to make.
Did it?
On one hand, I personally benefited from it, but on the other, it was at the expense of my fellow North Americans. So we talked at length about the Guilty Gear Strive 10v10 international event, North America versus Japan, not U.S. versus Japan, because Canada came in clutch for Team North America. Did you get to watch any of it?
I did not. I mean, I watched bits and pieces of it. I didn't get to sit through the whole thing, but I did see, when I was scrubbing through it just to get the gist of what happened, I kept seeing one name popping back up on the U.S. side, and I kind of figured what happened at that point. And I gotta tell you, man, to be the only person, well, one of two people in an entire 10-person team to win one set, but to then be the only person to win 4 sets, means that they got something that the rest of the team don't, and we need to cultivate the hell out of that.
So if you did not see it, it ended up in Japan's favor. It was 10-5, which put it squarely in the range of my 10-6 guess, which means I won a pizza. Half of it from you, half of it from Sharpie.
Yep, and I've already ordered the pizza. It is coming from Northeast Pennsylvania. It's my favorite pizza place called Sabatini's. It should be getting to you next week.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Is it refrigerated?
Nope. Sucks to suck.
But I shouldn't have watched this because this was, I had to wake up at 4 a.m. the next day. But I watched the whole thing. It was, there were some matches. Let's say it. The final score was 10-5. No Kami got 1 for Team North America. Deb, who is from Canada, she got the other 4.
Crazy that the people we expected to take sets got 5.
there were a couple of sets that were pretty close, like Kid Viper versus Domi right at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. That
Mm-hmm.
could have gone either way, and then just the last round, Domi just exploded. And but that was tight. You had a few sets like that. Um, Sonic Fox actually did pretty well in that first set against Koichi. Then Koichi made the adjustment,
Mm-hmm.
but then there were some uh, blow ups. Like I went to get a drink of water when Samito and Hook Gang God got started, and by the time I got back, that was pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
That was a speed run. Um, Deb is very, very good.
It is crazy how good she
It's
is.
tough. Yeah, we're still talking about a very young game,
Mm-hmm.
so it feels silly to have these conversations about who the best is right now.
Clearly, she's the best in North America.
She's, it's
That's the
tough
only
to
metric we
argue
have.
against her. It's tough to argue against her, and I think like we tend to overreact to things like
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of like, oh my god, Lord Knight sucks because he lost. Oh my god, Sonic Fox sucks because they lost. Kizzy Case sucks because they lost. Um, but Deb is not someone who's come out of nowhere. She was really good in uh, Xrd. She qualified for Arc Revo back in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
2018 or 2019, I forget. I believe it was 2019. Blue can back me up on this because I know he was using our graphics. Yep, and that's confirmation 2019. But she's been really really good for a long time. So her being among the best is not a surprise. Um, her being able to take 4 scalps though, that caught me off guard. I thought the success would be a little more spread out. But you've got some very very strong players. You've got Tomo. You've got Fat. You've got Kazunoko. You've got Goichi, who was pushed by Lord Knight. Um, it's Deb is legit. Deb is really really legit. That's probably the biggest takeaway you can take, at least from an American perspective,
Yep.
from this event.
But well, I think the biggest American perspective that we can take, Steve, is that you are now richer for it, for having your pizza bet go your way, which I am upset about because I wanted a pizza, but it's okay. Your Sabatinis
I
will get there next week.
I wanted, if I wasn't gonna win the pizza, I wanted you to win it over Sharpie, simply
I,
because that means that North America would have taken more games.
eh, I don't know about that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like this was a super fun. Like, first of all, big shout outs to Apology Man, Red Bull, Arxis,
Yeah,
everybody for putting that stuff together because that was super fun to watch the bits and pieces I did watch of it. Um, but at the end of the day, it's like we all have 2 arms and 2 legs. We're all from the planet Earth, so I don't think I'm not a big fan of the whole like nationalist mindset. But maybe it's just because I moved countries, so who knows?
that is a unique perspective.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, I think Deb being as strong as she is probably the second biggest takeaway. The first biggest takeaway is there was a wise man who once said a few years ago, uh, "We ain't beating Japan in anime. They drew this ish. They draw this ish."
Very true,
Mister Flow,
Mister.
with words that ring true today as they did when he first took finger to keyboard in 2017.
Oh man. Oh, good one. All right. Speaking of blow
Oh yeah,
ups.
the lobbies.
Oh,
That
did they
was
have issues with lobbies?
there were a couple, especially with Lost Soul. There was some delays in trying to get that set up, and that is unfortunately been par for the course in trying to set this up. I know James Chen was trying to do a tournament and could not get uh, streaming, couldn't or spectating to work.
Mm.
It's just a black mark on an online experience that is pretty damn good. It's good enough to actually run an event like this
Yeah.
somewhat successfully.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's again, it's like the whole buyer's remorse thing. It's a really, really good game. It's almost like Marvel. It's a really, really decent game being held by duct tape and loose screws. You know, it's a shame. But hopefully, they have promised that they're gonna try to fix it. So hopefully they do sooner rather than later. Now, Steve, we need to move on because we are woefully behind on our schedule here. But the blow up on the U.S. versus Japan Guilty Gear exhibition was not the only Guilty Gear blow up that happened this week. And Jabali, I was watching Jabali's stream and he said, "Oh, you guys don't talk about me anymore. So Jabali, we're talking about you now." All right. CEO had an expanded list of tickets, or an expanded amount of tickets that they were able to give out after CEO 2021 properly sold out in a couple of hours. And within 2 seconds, Guilty Gear sold out. Quite literally 2 seconds. And within 1 hour, all of the spots that he had put, which were spots from the additional tickets that he was able to hand out and from cancellations and refunds, were all gone within 1 hour. It's like a sneaker sale. It's like trying to get a PlayStation 5. So, CEO is now... Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say for Strive, this was not just a handful of slots. This was 256 plus,
mm-hmm.
and it sold out in 30 seconds.
Yep. Do you want to know how fast it sold out? Smash GG broke. I was watching Bailey's stream at twitch.tv/CEO Gaming, and they sold out so fast that there were more entrants than there were spots on Smash GG. It was like 768 out of 742 or something like that, or however many spots there were. That's how fast that sold out. Smash GG could not handle it and put too many people in the Guilty Gear bracket. Wild. So people really are looking forward to this offline tournament. It's crazy. Can't wait to see it. Can December be here yet? No, it cannot. But Steve, with this blow up, not just in the Guilty Gear side, because everything for CEO, the new stuff, got sold out within a couple hours. With all of this came the drama.
As is wont to do within on fighting game Twitter.
Yep.
And this is something that like with as quickly as this sold out, this was almost like we haven't seen anything like this before.
No, do you remember? Like, I was trying to remember. Like, I don't think there's been this much demand for an offline tournament to the point where it sold out this fast, right? Hotels room usually sell out fast, but never spots in a tournament. With the exception of maybe Final Round 2016 when Street Fighter V came.
But even that hit a cap the night before.
Yep.
Because they had like 700, and then they allowed at the door registration to get to that number. So yeah.
And the number was in the hundreds. And do you know what else is in the hundreds? It's the number of gift subs from Die by Sword, who has just resubscribed for 44 months. Die by Sword, lovely to see you, sir, and or madam, and or anything in between. Good to see you.
The patron saint of Best of Five.
Thank you, Die by Sword. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Steve, but I could not let that one pass by.
No, it's okay. But like we've seen tournaments hit caps before, relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But within a few days. Even like the first wave of CEO, it Guilty Gear sold out quickly, but that was still 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Climax of Night was within 12 hours. Relatively quick, but still, with if you registered right away, you could get in. There were people who tried to register at 12 when it went live
Yep.
and could not get in, which was holy cow. We've never
That's
seen
crazy.
anything like this.
Yeah, that is
But
wild.
and that's sort of what inspired this tweet from Mars, one of the top Smash players uh, in the scene. He did take to Twitter to throw up an idea for players who try to get into tournaments. Said, "quote Hope they just start letting top players do early registration. I know it's top player privilege or whatever, but I'd rather see MK Leo and Light go to CEO, for example, rather than two dudes who are going to go 0-2 and ask top players for pictures only after they lose." End quote. That did not go over well on the FGC side.
Can
of
this come
things.
across on the mic? How about now?
Uh,
Wait, is this better?
for those of you who are listening and not watching, Ilan has now that's 5. 6. Ilan has slapped his forehead 6 times. Don't do. He did 7.
My forehead hurts.
Well, that's what happens when you slap it 7 times. I tried
Yes.
to tell you not to go for number 7.
Also, okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this, Steve. I think I would like to say that we both agree on whether this is a good idea or not. I think we're both on the same page, but let's discuss it nonetheless, because it looks like there is one person in our chat who does agree with this take. Not entirely. I'm not going to say who it is for the podcast, but they see him on the Twitch chat. And here's the sitch. Should top players get special access to tournaments on top of everyone else who actually makes the FGC, Smash included? Sorry, was that a leading question?
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. So here is where I come in. I think there are two separate sort of trains of thought I have about this. One is that there is very much a difference between those who view fighting game tournaments as spectator sport versus those who view fighting game tournaments as participants in how this is playing out, in their thoughts on this. If you are someone who, your main entertainment is watching the games, you're not necessarily going to go to every event. You're not going to be in there throwing your hat in the ring, but you want to watch good play. There's nothing wrong with that. And from that perspective, it makes perfect sense. Do you want to watch if you're watching Wimbledon, wouldn't the experience be better if Nadal and Djokovic and Federer and all of those top players were there? If you're watching golf, wouldn't you rather have all of the heavy hitters there? As a viewer, that makes perfect sense. But as a competitor, I've talked about this before, where the FGC, in its ideal, is as close to a meritocracy as there is in esports. You don't have to be signed to a team. You don't have to go and be noticed by someone in particular or be friends with somebody. You show up, whether you're the reigning Evo champion or some random person who just picked up a fighting game 5 minutes ago. You go to an event, You pay your entrance fee, same as everybody else. You sit down and you win the same number of matches to get to the finals. You earn it in gameplay. And that is such a core idea, not just to the tournament itself, but to how so much of this community wants to work, that anything that encroaches on that idea is just immediately cast to the side. That's why I think the response to this was so negative from the FGC side of things, because it runs so opposite to one of the things we view as a core of our community, that everyone who shows up earns their respect in the game. You don't get special treatment from being a big name or from, winning a local somewhere else and beating other big names. You go on the sticks or on the controllers and you prove it.
I agree. However, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Not something I
So
usually do.
I think there is an argument here. There is an argument to play devil's advocate. So
Yep.
go ahead.
First of all, there is such a thing as top player privilege, and we experienced it in the ESL tournament just now, where one of the players was didn't make it in time, and the TOs moved their match from whenever it was supposed to be to the last match. I think it was allowed. I'm not 100% sure. That's top player privilege. If that happened to me, nobody would move matches around for me, right? So, since top player privilege is a thing, and since another top Smash player wants VIP rooms for the top players to warm up and play their friendlies, and get their handsies, warmies, upsies. Sorry, that sounded way more condescending than I meant it to be.
It did a little bit.
Look, Smash is part of the FGC as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to say that. But since there is already this top player privilege where, I've had to wait for like matches in tournaments for like 45 minutes to an hour because the other player didn't show up and they happened to have a name or they knew somebody, blah, blah, blah. Since this is already a thing, what is the difference between having something like that or having seeding or having anything else than to let top players register early for tournaments? Isn't it better for the tournament all around? Sponsors for the teams means money, more attention to the tournament, means more money in the FGC. The bigger names draw more viewers, draw more attention, right? More people willing to sit through Twitch ads to watch Mango play than, Fart Sniffer 39 or whatever. So it's like, what's the difference? If we have one thing, why not the other?
First of all, how dare you besmirch the name of Fart Sniffer 39?
I'm sorry. Couldn't think of any other name.
They've been on the grind for months. Their soul is very, very strong. So, that I don't know. I found that funny. I hoped you would have laughed.
I laughed on the inside, Steve.
But I mean, first of all, like seeding is more of a necessary evil in terms of the operation of tournaments, because you don't want, if you have 4 strong players, you don't necessarily, if you're running a fair tournament, you don't want all 4 of those players in, facing each other in the first 2 rounds.
How is that fair/not fair?
Because then you're basically giving them a harder and an unequally hard path. There's always, if you have seeding, there are some players who are going to run into players who are seeded. There are going to be players who run into strong tournaments, but that's spread out. So it's not like, okay, because I'm on this side of the bracket, my path to getting through to the finals is significantly harder than someone on that side of the bracket.
Isn't that always the case anyway, though?
it's always going to be the case in some sense, but it's not necessarily, it's somewhat avoidable to a degree. I mean, the FGC is different in that we don't have absolute rankings.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a comprehensive list of. We don't have the same. It's not like golf or tennis where the same 150, 200 players go to every single event and you have this massive pool of results that everybody can lean on so that you have some sort of comprehensive ranking system. There's always going to be some estimation. There's always going to be some argument with that. But, just any tournament you run, you want to spread the quality of player throughout the bracket. So that if someone does beat a strong player and pulls the upset, their reward should be a similar path that person should have gotten, instead of, okay, now you got to face the third best player, fourth best player, fifth best player, while 200, 300, 400 are on the other side of the bracket. So I think that's a different conversation.
Okay. You did say it was a necessary evil, so I think I'm going to have to back off on this one. But I was ready to die on that hill about how seeding is FGC classist.
I get the argument for, doing some sort of seeding randomization.
Yeah, we've had death pools, right? Remember SCR death pools? Those were amazing to watch.
Well, yeah, and that was the punishment for those who didn't register on time. And that's literally, that isn't necessarily, classes. That's, hey, everyone who registers will get put in the regular bracket. Right. Everyone who registers late gets put in this one late bracket. You got to get through this. Everyone was given the same set of rules. Right. So I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I'm not saying the death pool was good or bad. I'm saying that was a true, randomized experience. Right? Or did they actually seed that bracket through? I don't remember.
I don't think they had time to seed it. I think it was just like whoever, they shuffled it, and
all I remember is that Marn won, and nobody was expecting Marn to win. It was crazy, and I loved it. And now Finitude brings up a point that it's amazing to watch, but to play, then again, top player privilege.
I will say though that the idea of players getting, early access, registering early, that has happened before. When you talk about tournaments that aren't necessarily like CEO or Evo or Combo Breaker, or, tournaments where those tournaments sell on their name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't, if you say CEO's happening, you don't think, oh, I wonder who's going to this. There's plenty of enough people going that it's going to be a good event. But the smaller events that are just starting up, just trying to get bigger, they do partner up with players. They do, hey, if you come to our event, we'll give you a discount on registration. We'll take care of your hotel. We'll take care of your transportation. That happens.
Yeah.
That shouldn't, that doesn't happen at every event, but it does happen. And, that's the way of the world for that.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, too. Going off of this, Steve, at the end of the day, as a TO, you have to make sure that you make your tournament attractive enough for people to come, right? Of course, CEO, Combo Breaker, Evo, they are attractive in their name and in their status within the FGC. But when you have smaller tournaments, the way you make that attractive is by getting bigger players there. It's like, oh, you have a chance to play a Justin Wong, or you have a chance to play Punk, or like what Sharpie did with Xanadu. Oh, you have a chance to play Sonic Fox, to Kill Sage. Another person whose name I currently don't remember, and I feel very awful about.
No Kami,
thank you. So you have a chance to play those players by going to this smaller tournament. But again, that whole situation, while yes, the tournament organizer is making sure that player gets registered, blah, 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 but that's the attraction. That's what's going to get everybody to sign up, right? Like, that's what's getting people to sign up to the tournament. So I think that's not so much as like a top player privilege thing as it is that player providing a service to that tournament that they otherwise wouldn't have been at.
I get that. I really do. But that doesn't have to be every tournament. If some tournaments decide they want to go that route, I'm not mad about them doing that because
Mm-hmm.
this is a business, and tournaments aren't necessarily money makers. So you got to do something to stand out. You got to be able to make sure that you either make money or at least don't lose money,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can run your event next year. I get that.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
here's why that changes as well is that's one or two players, not the entire breadth of the professional, like the team sponsored players, right? There's a very
but
much big difference with what's happening with what this person wants to happen and
but
what already happened as far as the situation.
but from a business perspective,
Mm-hmm.
if you're talking about doing this to attract people, if we're talking about an event that sells out in minutes, obviously that doesn't apply.
Yeah,
So if you're talking about CEO,
right.
yeah, that's not tournaments. Streaming. I've seen this argument so many times that it's a better show for streamers, and streamers are so important to tournament. Streamers aren't that big of a deal in terms of tournament operations. A lot of times they give that portion to whatever channel's running the stream,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just TOs are just concerned with getting the rest of the event to go.
Yep.
So if it's better for streamers, obviously they want to become a popular event so that streamers will want to work with them,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not necessarily going to live and die by Twitch stream numbers.
Yep.
So that argument I don't think holds as much water as it does. You know, for me, in this instance, we're talking about one of the first major events offline that people can go to
Mm-hmm.
in year and a half. Everyone wants to go. Why should my, why should I be more important than you in terms of me, in me getting to go? Why should I be less important than you in terms of me getting to go? We're both people. We both deserve to be there just as much as anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you're one of these top players where playing is how you put food on the table, or a significant part of that, registering for events is part of your job. You have to eat. You have to be prepared to do it. Either do it yourself, or if you're on a team, reach out to someone on your team and say, "Hey, I'm going to be doing this event, but while I'm doing this, registration opens for CEO or for Combo Breaker or whatever. I need you to take care of this for me as soon as it opens." Because that's what your team should be doing. If
Mm-hmm.
that's, if you're at the level where you're on an actual team, not just a crew not Ace King Esports where all you get is a hat, which, oh God, I really need to make that happen. I'm going to make that
Hashtag
happen.
paw paw.
Hashtag fear the claw. Hashtag caw caw.
Okay. Let me stop playing devil's advocate here because it's very difficult for a topic that I am very much passionate about. Uh, Here's the situation. For someone who is not a professional player, for somebody who plays at their locals, for people who go 0-2, doesn't matter. Going to a tournament is already a big drain on the bank account if it's not being paid for, right? But the attraction is you get to see friends that you normally see, right? When you go to tournaments, you always run into the same people. When you go to a tournament, you get to sit down and play with everybody, and much like what Steve was saying. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you're Gandhi or if you're Daigo. Everybody's placed in the same bracket, and yes, seeding is the whole thing, but like Steve said, necessary. When you make it harder for the people who are ultimately providing the avenue of which these players are making money to register for a tournament, because you're prioritizing the players who benefit from everybody else. That is the end of the FGC as we know it. Like, I'm not going to even attempt to sign up for tournaments if I am not 100%, or like if it's super difficult to get in, right? And I don't mean that as in the situation that happened with CEO. I don't even mean that with the situation that happened with Melty Blood, with Climax Ignite. I mean that as in, if by the time I get to registration, the cards are so stacked against me because 800 sponsored players get to register before me, and I'm thinking about putting up thousands of dollars to go to a tournament, and the cards are already stacked against me in just registering. There's no way in hell I'm even going to consider that, right? Even if I have good friends going, even if I love fighting games, as a person who is not a top player, as a person who likes going to tournaments and likes playing, going 0-2, I've gone 0-2 a billion times, and then you get to play with people, you get to play with your friends, and you get to learn. If we're treated like second-class players because we don't have a fancy team name next to our registration names, because we don't have somebody footing the bill, there's no way in hell I'm going. There's no way in hell I'm going to spend my money. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that thinks this way. So without, the majority of the tournament going, all you have are just exhibitions with much smaller pot bonuses. Or not smaller pot bonuses, but much smaller pots, because you're not going to have people signing up. And at this point, then you're just going to get a very weird self-masturbatory community of top players just playing each other. And that's all that's going to keep happening. And sure, it's going to be entertaining for the short run, but at the end of the day, it's going to get old. It's going to get old really fast. Because with the open bracket format that we have, you can have situations like a Gandhi, right? You can have situations where IDOM wins Capcom Cup. But without that, the FGC ain't the FGC is nothing. So that's ultimately, what? I think, where it lies.
And the other thing to remember with that is, those big players, guess what? They started out as not big players.
Mm-hmm. They started out as
1-2.
They started out as two dudes who were going to go 0-2 and ask top players for pictures only after they lose. Maybe not at the ask for pictures part, but I'm just directly quoting, because I'm pretty sure Mars has gone 0-2 in a couple of turns.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made about the possibility of setting a couple of seats aside.
No, there's not.
Or working. There could be. It's not necessarily an argument I agree with in a case like this. But, I just feel like especially right now, everyone wants to play.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves to play.
Yeah, exactly.
When we get to a point where we can run events without player caps again, then we're looking at a different conversation. But for now, it's sneaker drops.
Yep.
Anytime an event announces, you got to be ready to go.
And let me put up one more argument, if I may. First of all, actually, before I even put up the argument, I reached a conclusion in going 0-2 so many times at tournaments that actually helped me improve to the point where I've started getting out of pools before I stopped competing. 50% of a tournament loses their first match. a quarter of players who enter every tournament go 0-2. And not all of the people who go 0-2 are Johnny Donuts. Or fart sniffer. You know? At the end of the day, that's the attractiveness of an open bracket. And unfortunately, that's kind of the way the world, the double elimination world crumbles, is half the players lose the first game. And a quarter of the players, or at half of those half of players, lose their first 2 games. Now, the other thing is, Steve, I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know if you have the answer to. I surely don't have the answer to. But for the path to making money off of an esport, I want to bring this up. If you play Overwatch, how do you get into an Overwatch League team?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, right? If you play CSGO, how do you get into a CSGO esports team?
You play CS:GO, but I'm not familiar enough with that game to know,
Right.
what circles you have to run in, or what events you have to do well at.
Right.
In order.
If you play League of Legends, how do you get into one of the League National Championship teams? Who the hell knows? In the FGC, how do you get big in the FGC? You go to tournaments and you win. Simple. Right? You go to a tournament, you sign up, you do well. There it is. It's like you said, the FGC is about as close to a meritocracy as we can get in an esports setting. Right? And it's very simplified compared to, any other esport as far as I know. Because you can't just show up to a tournament and do well in League of Legends. Right? Who the hell even knows tournaments like that? I think the only thing that comes close to it is something like Hearthstone. Right? But hey, guess what? They have open bracket tournaments. So, point is, the FGC is so approachable from the quote-unquote 0-2 Johnny Donuts perspective, or the quote-unquote casual perspective. Because if you want to go somewhere, I mean, this is obviously pre-pandemic, of course, but if you wanted to be a part of the FGC, you just go. Like, literally, that's all it takes. You just go to a tournament. There you go. You're part of the FGC. Right? That's literally how I became part of the FGC. I started playing Street Fighter 4, and then I found out when Winter Brawl was in Philadelphia. It was the closest tournament to me at the time. I went, spoke to Spooky, spoke to Big E. I came back to another tournament, Summer Jam. Came back to NEC. All of a sudden, I had friends. I never had friends before. I'm kidding. I had friends before. But all of a sudden, like, you see the same faces and you start making friendships with these people that you see so often, right? By proxy or just by, getting along. So the fact that there is one person, I'm not going to say, I'm sure there are other top players who do agree with this take, right? Just because they don't want to be inconvenienced by Johnny Donuts. But this thought of taking that away is what's going to be the end of the FGC as we know it. If you start making it harder for people to become a part of the community, if you start making one player's money worth more than the other, especially in the medium where we ain't in the esports world. Sorry, Steve. That's the end of our community, right? Like it was the same way in arcades. All you had to do was just show up and beat everybody. All you have to do is show up and just strike up a conversation. Like, that's literally it. With other games and other communities, like, I don't even know where to begin. Right? So, that's it. And that's, I think, what makes the FGC so attractive. And a thought like this is exactly the opposite of where we need to be going. And that's all I have to say on that subject, I think. I think I've spoken enough on it.
We've spoken a lot on this.
Oh my God, it's 7. Okay, Steve, we're gonna have to speed run the rest of the show.
Can we hit up the Steam sale real quick?
Oh yeah, hit it up. So speaking
All right.
of spending money, go for it, Steve.
Steam summer sale is going on. If you want to pick up some fighting games, now is a good time to do it. This is just a handful of the titles that are on sale. Skullgirl Second Encore for $5. Tekken 7 for $6.
That's the full game too, like
That
with DLC.
well, no, the
No.
5.99 is
Okay.
just the base game. Most of these games do include sales for DLC.
Mm-hmm.
So, like
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
MK11 Ultimate is on sale for 30, and that includes everything. Guilty Gear Rev 2. There's a version that's like I think 7.49 for the base game, but uh, if you include the DLC, it's $9. DBFZ is $9. You there if you've ever wanted to pick up a fighting game, now is a good time to check it out on Steam. The only notable title I saw that was not on sale was Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Or Strive. What a rip.
Strive, I really didn't count since it came out
Yeah, no, it's
a
okay.
week and a half ago.
But Steve, sales are cool and all. I want to get to something that, again, I didn't think this was ever going to happen, but sure enough, here we are. And this crazy shenanigans is the presentation of Kazuya in Smash. The only way we're ever going to see Tekken cross Street Fighter is in Smash. The only way we're ever going to see Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Or not Tatsunoko versus Capcom, the other one. Capcom versus SNK. CVS is in Tekken and Smash. But check this out, dude. This is what they did to Kazuya in Smash. And I cannot believe how crazy it is that they made a Tekken character feel like a Tekken character in a Smash game. And here, it's unbelievable. I cannot believe that they turned Kazuya into a Shoto. But
Chuck Norris is a Shoto.
he really is. That's funny. He really is. All right, let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit because I want to see some of these. First of all, we have 10 strings.
It's you gotta love how much they did this with Ken and Ryu. You gotta love how much these characters are love letters to the series they come from.
Mm-hmm.
They, whatever you think of the game as a fighting game, as a video game, it just does so much well, and this is one of them.
He even has the timing. Like they have timings and strings in Tekken. He even has timing. Look, he has the running kick, while running kick. Not to mention the stage is pretty badass too. Let's not even get to that. Yeah, we got split kicks. I don't think we're gonna have time to sit here and watch until we get to this point. But Steve, they have wave dashing. The game that created wave dashing is now in Smash that uses wave dashing. Now has wave dashing for the character because you can crouch dash. Crazy.
Are you able to fast forward to that? Because I've not seen this.
Where's that? Statue Smash. And these are all the moves. Like, they literally said, like, wow, Tekken characters have a lot of moves. We're going to put them all in. They're all here. Just like the ultimate marketing. Is everybody's here. All the moves are here. Let's see. Where is this? Hold on. Oh, yeah, and he also turns into Devil Kazuya. Oh, here it is. All right. He's talking about the throws and how you can combo off of after throws. See, look at that. Look at that input. I think I might have to go back just a little bit to see where it there. What is this motion, you might be asking? It's a crouch dash.
Oh,
It's a
can he
crouch
backdash?
I don't think he can do Korean backdashes, which is unfortunate. But look at that. It's a crouch dash and it goes under highs. And you have Wind God Fist off of it. And hey, Steve, guess what? If you do a just frame, you get Electric Wind God Fist. It's so amazing what he's managed to do with this.
I was curious about that. I was really curious
See, look at that.
about that.
In the original game, the input window was a single frame. We've made it a little bit more forgiving, but there it is. Also, they call it a dragon uppercut, but it's an Electric Wind God Fist.
So he's got an uppercut. He's got an uppercut. He's got a forward advancing kick, and he's got a projectile. He really is a Shoto.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Also, his beam looks messed up. It's crazy. Like, it looks so strong. But yeah, dude, the stage looks pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff. Also, along with this, I did want to bring this up because this was pretty cool. Let's take a look at the Mii costume, shall we? Also, by the way, you get, like, all the same customizations you would get in Tekken. Well, not all of them, but you get a lot of it. And this is what Kirby looks like when he swallows Kazuya. So, there you go. You too can blast Devil Kazuya lasers with Kirby now. Okay. Let's take a look at some of these Mii fighters. You do have to pay for this. Sorry.
We're doing block grab.
We're doing block grab. Here it is. The first one. I unfortunately watched this, so I know what's coming up. But I don't think you do.
I have
so
not. So this is new to me.
Whoa! Is this guy? Is Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia.
Block.
Yeah, block. I agree. I don't even know where this is.
I'm not big on the Tales series. I'm sorry.
Oh, who's this? Excuse me. Let's just put Skyrim in the game and screw it, right? That's a grab for me. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty badass.
Grab because why not?
Oh, who's that? Dante? From Devil May Cry?
From Devil May Cry.
You can't say Devil May Cry, though, and you can't say Skyrim. That's something very specific that they put in there. They aren't using the game names. They're using the character names for this. But yeah, Dante is on there.
You have to grab. You have to grab.
And
Shantae!
They finally made it. And she gets special music, too.
But it's not Dance Through the Danger. So
no, it's not.
No, that's a grab. That's a grab.
So there you are. You get Lloyd, Shantae, the Dragonborn from Skyrim, and Dante from Devil May Cry. But you can't say Devil May Cry because I don't think they have the rights for that.
Can you say Dante from Devil May Cry 3?
Sure.
Or no, Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Sure. I think that one ends a little bit better. But yeah, those are the new Mii fighters, and that is Kazuya and Smash. Great. Speaking of Kazuya, Tekken, I just want to go by this really quickly. As of June 19th, Tekken has seen a very big resurgence in concurrent player numbers on Steam. How big is that, you may ask? It doubled. They had around 6,000 concurrent players normally. It is now sitting at 11 and 12,000 since June 19th. Why is that? Kazuya got announced on the 16th. That might be it. Steam sales, I think, started on the 19th. That might be it. Now, I do believe there is something that goes a little bit deeper here. And I wish I had more time to sleuth in this one, but unfortunately, I only had a little bit of time before the show. However, there is something very interesting. The Nintendo account did not tweet on June 19th. I know, it's a big deal. The Nintendo account that has been tweeting like 3 times every day from different things that happened from their Nintendo Direct and from stuff that was happening. They were kind of hyping up the showcase. It did not tweet on June 19th. And that's when the numbers doubled for Tekken. Why is that? We're going to have to take a deep dive sometime in the future. Keep an eye out for the patterns. Anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up. I think it's probably because of the sales at the end of the day, to be completely frank. But Tekken's got a lot of eyes on it now that it's on the Smash end of things, right? There's a lot of people who like Smash. Not a lot of people who, I mean, Smash you can't play Tekken in the Switch, as far as I know. But hey, maybe people want to check out what Tekken's all about since it's popular enough to be in Smash. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was very interesting. Now, Steve, we truly do have to speedrun the rest of this because we have 10 minutes left to the show. Technically 12. But we have a couple of things that we do need to get through. First, should we take a look at some announcements?
Yes.
And some trailers? All right.
Yeah.
What is this?
Audio Jungle.
Audio Jungle. Tonight, in the light of the Playo Blue Moon.
So I will say,
The Tsukihime character. What is this? Blood Banquet? Oh. 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 Oh.
we're looking at Melty. We're looking at
It is.
Melty.
This is the new Melty Blood.
And it looks good.
It does.
It obviously doesn't. No one's going to confuse this for Guilty Gear.
Right.
No one's going to confuse this for Grand Blue. But this does feel like a. It feels Melty-ish, but it feels like a very polished Melty.
Yeah. It looks really
if that
good.
makes sense.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It looks really, really cool.
It is amazing to see all the work Yoshinori Ono has put into this.
Who would have thought that we were going to see Tekken, oh my god, Melty in 2021? And who would have thought that Ono was going to be behind Melty Blood type Lumina in 2021?
And carrying the franchise on September 30th.
Okay, this is both great for us and terrible for TOs. Poor Jabali just sold out CEO and now Melty Blood's coming out in September. Poor who's the organizer for Climax?
Shinobi.
Shinobi, thank you. Poor Shinobi just put Climax and Night together.
I'm hoping that he's able to get some sort of... There will probably be a side tournament for the players that are there. But I know space-wise, it was going to be tough to get Melty in there anyway.
Yep.
There will be Melty had at Climax. There's no way there won't be Melty represented some way, somehow.
Oh, what is this? Oh, the deluxe edition. Okay, so it's 50 smackaroos for the regular and 70 for the deluxe. Just in case you guys didn't know. Also, speaking of deluxe, there is one person who is a deluxe supporter here on the channel, and that is NDO103. Thank you for your 42 months of support. Much appreciated. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the show.
3.5 years.
That's deluxe.
That is incredible. Everyone who supports us, we really do appreciate it.
Oh, Jabali said, so from Blue, breaking news in the chat, Jabali has said that Melty Blood's going to be the first game announced at CEO Otaku 2022. And by going to be announced, he means he just announced it.
Yeah, my guess is, like, when I say that it's going to be at Climax, obviously it won't be there as an official game, but I am sure some of the attendees are going to put together a side tournament.
For sure.
It won't necessarily be it will be at Climax. It won't necessarily be under the Climax umbrella, but it's going to happen. Melty games will be had. I promise you that.
For sure. Speaking of games being had, we also had more things from another game. Sorry, we have to keep going here. New stage, new character, Vanessa. Sorry, I shouldn't talk over the guy who's paid to do it. All right, there's Vanessa.
Oh. Team Secret Agent.
Oh, look at that. Team Secret Agent announced. King of Fighters.
If I had more time and wasn't tied up with other things, I would have photoshopped a little Totally Spies clip
That
into
does
that
look like Totally
reveal.
Spies. I'm glad you said that because I thought it. Also, yeah, that is a brand new team. Never before seen. Team Secret Agent. Coming to King of Fighters 15 in 2022. Good stuff. Steve, well, go
Can
ahead.
you call yourself Secret Agent and still be a Secret Agent?
Yeah.
I think that
Look at Archer.
once you call your...
Look
I
at James
actually
Bond.
haven't seen that show.
Okay, we're not going to get into this because we don't have enough time, but I think you need to get yourself a Hulu subscription and go start watching Archer. Because that show's
I
amazing.
have Hulu.
Then go watch Archer right now while I play this next trailer.
That sounds unprofessional.
2020, 2021. 2021 is back.
FA, First Attack.
Oh, First Attack. Nice! Registration opens on July 1st. All you sponsored players who want to whine about not getting it, set your alarms. Dumbasses.
So Thursday at noon.
Okay, we're not watching the trailer again, sorry.
Thursday at noon, if you want to see what's going down in Puerto Rico. First Attack 2021 registration will open. So yeah, we've got more events returning. Unfortunately, we do have an event that is not taking place anymore.
Oh man, we should have led with this one instead of going out on a downer, but that's okay. That's my fault.
Well, it's the circle of life. There's yin, there's yang.
There's life and there's death.
There's announcements and there's cancellations. And unfortunately, we do have a cancellation of Battle Arena Melbourne 2021. This is the big Australian event run by the Couch Warriors team. They issued a statement earlier this week that said in part, quote, "We are announcing the postponement of BAM 2021. After careful consideration of the COVID safety state across Australia and discussions with the venue, we have taken the difficult step to postpone. We are moving BAM to its traditional month of May 2022. In its place, for those who can attend in Melbourne on July 11th, we will have a special alternative event we dub BANC, or Battle Arena Nightclub. And they go on to say that due to the Melbourne lockdown recently, with a slow rate of changes to restrictions, the scope of the event has been affected. Adding to the decision, the new hotspots in New South Wales and Queensland have diminished the ability for interstate visitors to attend our community's national event. In this uncertain environment, we cannot guarantee an event befitting the scale and style expected of BAM." End quote.
Man, feels like 2020 all over again, huh? And that is something that, I think this is a discussion for another day, but that is something we might need to talk about is this new variant that's kind of sweeping the world again. Because they just announced one here in my county, and I got to tell you, that makes my blood pressure rise. Scary.
It's not over. There's light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not as if there's a definitive beginning or a definitive end to this just yet.
There is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's powered by ERCOT, the electrical grid in Texas, so it's faulty.
Has that been okay for you guys lately?
I'm fine. I still have friends who don't have electricity still, so it's not great. And not to mention that, I don't know if you read, but if you have a smart thermometer in Austin, the electrical companies have been automatically turning your thermostats up so you don't waste too much electricity during the day. So that's been fun. But again, I've been fine. I have old thermometers. I think the moral of the story is don't get smart thermometers because other people can turn that up and down, and you're gonna wake up to it being 85 degrees in your house while going to bed setting the thermostat at 71. Good job, ERCOT. And again, I just want to say, with with all the crap that happened in Texas, I guess I have special perspective on unusual temperatures. Big ups to the people over in the Pacific Northwest, man. I hope you guys stay safe. I know things are not great. Global warming is getting the best of us, but stay strong and don't blow up anything on the 4th of July.
Yes. If you do use fireworks, be very careful, especially if you're in one of these spots that has been very, very hot, because we don't need more gender reveals.
Nope.
We
no more
don't
gender
need more.
reveals. Just
Just
forego
be
the
careful.
fireworks this year, huh? Just forego the fireworks this year. It's okay. We'll have another 4th of July, I hope.
Just play Firework by Katy Perry. That's pretty much the same thing.
Baby,
Just
you're
pull
a
out your
firework.
phone.
Have you ever felt like a plastic bag, Steve?
I feel like a plastic bag more often than I care to admit.
I don't disagree.
And I choose not to expand on that because we got to get going.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but the show, unfortunately, has to make like a plastic but past it. Take 2. Action. The show.
We got to make like a banana and split.
Take 2. The show has to be like a plastic bag and get blown away by the wind and come back another day. So, for me, my name is Ilan. For the last time, everybody say please thank this wall for providing us with shelter. Thank the roof and this fan and this air conditioning duct and this fire alarm for making the show happen. I'll be back hopefully next week, but no promises. I don't know how moving is going to go. But next time, I'll be back with a brand new wall. Hopefully, the same art.
Sharpie will be back next week.
For sure. And Steve, any last words before we blow into the wind?
I would say good night, Canada.